We're asked to simplify this expression. You're not allowed to simply cancel the 3x and the 3x because this 3x is being added to something and this 3x is being added to something as well. Even though they're identical, this 6 is still being added or subtracted to something, so that's why you're not allowed to just cancel. The only time you can cancel is when you have factors, that is, things being multiplied. So we're going to try to factor the numerator, we're going to try to factor the denominator, and we hope for common factors. Whenever we're trying to factor, let's see, we'll refer to some rules for factoring. We look for the GCF, pay attention to how many terms there are, and in this case, for the denominator, we have a GCF. We won't be able to go any further than that. For the numerator, we have 4 terms. We could use the box method or factor by grouping. Okay, for the numerator, first I'll do factor by grouping. It's probably a preferred method among mathematics instructors. I think it puts you a little more in touch with the logic of what you're doing, but I'll also solve this using the box method. You first look at your first 2 terms, you group them together, and you look for the GCF. With 3x plus 6, your greatest common factor would be a 3. Oops. So when you factor a 3 out of here, you're left with x. You factor a 3 out of here, you're left with 2. Then you focus on the next 2 terms. You have negative xy minus 2y. Alright. And focusing on just these 2 terms, the common factor is y. And you need to be careful with these signs. Notice here we have an x plus 2. I want that to become a plus. So these will be common factors. This, what's in parentheses, that's going to be my common factor. After I factor out the GCF from these 2 terms. So I'm actually going to factor out a negative y from these 2 terms. When I factor a negative y out of there, what are we left with? Positive x. Okay. When I factor negative y out of there, what are we left with? Positive 2. Okay, and now what we have in parentheses is identical. That becomes our common factor. Alright, so x plus 2 is a common factor, so I'm going to factor it out. When I factor x plus 2 out of there, x plus 2, I'll be left with a 3. When I factor x plus 2 out of there, I'll be left with a negative y. Okay. So over here I factored out x plus 2, I'm left with 3. Over here I factored out x plus 2, I'm left with negative y. This gives me the factored form of the numerator. Okay. I could also have plugged it in the box real quick, so I think I'll just slide this up and show that briefly. Make sure my box fits on the screen. The box is a little more mechanical. Alright, so first term in the first box, last term in the last box. I don't care about the sign down here. And these other 2 terms, it really doesn't matter where they go. 6 and negative xy. It's kind of nice when you're given a 4-term polynomial. It's ready to go and you just put it right in the box. Sorry about the train in the background there. Alright, now you look for a greatest common factor. Going straight up will be a y, and if the negative's almost out, you pull it out. Here you would get a 3. Going across you would get an x, and going across here you would get a positive 2. So notice 3 minus y is what you got when you used factor by grouping, and x plus 2, you got that when you used factor by grouping. Either way, you will get the same result. Okay, we're going to move way back up here. Let's see, put it right there. Alright, so when we factored the numerator, we got two binomial factors, x plus 2 and 3 minus y. Okay, and for the denominator here, you're looking for a GCF, which is 3. When you factor out a 3 from 3x, you're left with x. When you factor out 3 from 6, you're left with that positive 2. And now notice, I guess I'll slide this down a little bit and over. You have two common factors here, x plus 2, x plus 2. That's all that you can cancel. So your final answer, hope I'm not running out of room here, 3 minus y on top and just a 3 on the bottom. And again, you cannot cancel these 3's. This 3 is being added or subtracted. So this is your final answer. If you still don't believe me, maybe it'll help to see I could rewrite this expression. That really means 3 over 3 minus y over 3. So I could rewrite this as, what would that simplify to? 1 minus y over 3. But this is the preferred form of the answer. Okay, that's how we want it written.